What's up guys, my name is Ace, and the beta for Battlefield 6 is right around the corner. It's coming up this weekend, and in today's video, I wanted to share everything you need to know about the beta, including the important dates, the content we can expect to see, as well as preload details, because we can actually preload the game right now, and if you do that, you can go in and set up your settings before the servers even go live. And in the background, in between the important images I'll be sharing for you guys, I'll just show you the settings that we have available, at least on PlayStation 5. Obviously, this will vary depending on your platform, especially with PC graphics settings. And with that out of the way, let's dive into this with a recap of the important dates to know for the beta. With this, the early access portion of the beta goes live on Thursday, August 7th, and that early access portion will be for the 7th and the 8th. And in order to gain early access, for anybody that's even just signed up for Battlefield Labs at some point, you will automatically have early access. Even if you weren't selected to take part in Battlefield Labs, you just had to have signed up for it, you will be given early access. And if you did, you should have gotten an email by now explaining all the details with that. Additionally, people that watched the streamers at the Battlefield reveal last week from a linked Twitch account should have gotten early access as well. I believe you had to have watched for a minimum of 30 minutes. And then finally, the last way to get early access is with an EA Play Pro subscription. That will get you immediate access as well, no code or anything required. Just log into your account that has that Pro subscription available, and that early access will just automatically be available for you on August 7th. Now, after the early access portion, on the 9th and 10th this weekend, this is where we'll have the open beta, so anybody can just download and play it. Totally free, no pre-orders or anything required for it. Anybody can hop in and play. And then the following weekend, from August 14th to 17th, that's going to be the second weekend of open beta. And again, there's no early access for any of that. It's fully open to anyone. Now, when it comes to preloads, like I said, preloads are now available on all platforms. And I noticed, at least on PlayStation, it was a little bit tricky. It wasn't as simple as just opening up the store and the beta was there. I actually had to access this on the PlayStation site via a browser. And I will leave direct links to the beta page for each of the platforms in the description of the video. If you guys are having a problem finding the ability to preload the beta, just click those links and it'll take you directly to that page. As for size, at least on PS5, it was a roughly 34 gigabyte download. So that should be at least in the ballpark of what you should expect. It may vary slightly depending on the platform, but it should at least be roughly 34, 35 gigabytes. And like I said, once you preload it, you can immediately boot it up and access your settings at least and get those dialed in. Although obviously with things like sensitivity, usually you need to actually play with the game to get a good feel for it. And obviously we don't have access to actually hop in and play or even go into the firing range or anything. So a lot of that stuff you'll have to wait to dial in, but you can at least get some of your basic settings set up. And now that we have that covered, let's get into the content that we can expect to see throughout the beta. And on the first weekend, so starting with the early access and going into the open portion of the first weekend, we will have access to 3 of the maps. We'll have Iberian Offensive, Liberation Peak, and Siege of Cairo. And the modes that'll be available are going to be Conquest. They will also have the closed weapon version of Conquest, where you will be able to try out class-locked weapons. Then they'll have Breakthrough, Domination, and King of the Hill. And then for the second weekend, they're adding an additional map, a 4th map into rotation, and that is Empire State, as well as Rush, Squad Deathmatch, and then they just say and more, so there might be some surprises on the second weekend there. And of course, when I say Rush and Squad Deathmatch are coming, those are coming in addition to the modes that we'll have access to in the first weekend. And that's it as far as map and mode content they've outlined. When it comes to weapons, I haven't seen any official confirmation at the time of recording this video at least, but the assumption is we will have access to all of the content that the streamers had access to at the reveal event, which if you guys are interested, I did go into great detail showing not only all of the weapons, but also how the attachment system works and how loadouts work in general. I covered that in a video just a few days ago. I will also leave that link down below. If you guys haven't seen that yet, I'd at least recommend checking that out so you know what to expect when you dive into the beta when it comes to how the loadouts work. But for the weapons, I expect to see throughout the beta, but again, this hasn't been officially confirmed. These are for the assault rifles, the NVO-228E, the B36A4, and the M433. For carbines, we have the M4A1, the AK-205, and the M417A2. For SMGs, we have the SGX and the PW7A2. For LMGs, we have the L1110 and the KTS-100 Mark 8. For DMRs, we have the M39 EMR and the SVK 8.6. For sniper rifles, we have the M2010 ESR. For shotguns, we have the M8A1. And then finally, for sidearms, we have the P18. And those are all just the in-game names. In most cases, that will vary from the real-life counterpart of that. And there we go, that's pretty much it. As far as all of the weapons I suspect we'll be seeing throughout the beta. One other thing to point out is at the reveal event last week, the streamers had everything unlocked by default, and I doubt that's going to be the case for the beta. I think you are going to have to level things up a little bit in order to gain access to it, not only for the weapons, but also the attachments. And then one last thing I wanted to point out here is they have announced Twitch drops that will be happening throughout the open beta. So if you watch streamers that have drops enabled on Twitch and you have your accounts linked, you can earn the Shattered Vehicle skin, the Mimic Weapon package, the Landslide Soldier skin, and the Imperial Soldier skin. And might as well do a little bit of self-promo here. I have drops enabled, I do stream on Twitch, and I'm definitely planning on streaming the beta as much as I can, so I will leave a link to my Twitch down below if you guys want to come check that out. And with that, that is going to wrap it up for this video. That's everything that you should need to know going into the beta. And this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How many of you are planning on checking out the beta? Do you have early access, or are you just going to wait for the open beta portion of the game? And what are some of your hopes and expectations for this beta? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.